What up? The Warriors are out of their mind. And I say that because of how the last few weeks, especially, have played out for them. So, Klay Thompson leaving is self explanatory. And that's obviously going to hurt the Warriors the most. I've said previously that I believe they should have traded Klay Thompson while he was still under contract during the season. But they decided to not do that. What they are doing now, in wake of losing Klay Thompson, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So they signed DeAnthony Melton to a 1 year deal that's worth nearly $13 million. In the new CBA, that's really not that much in terms of the cap, and it's a 1 year deal. But I don't really know what they're looking for him to do here. He was pretty injured last season, so he didn't play that much. So I don't know what they're trying to bring him in for. Probably for defense, probably for some playmaking, but we'll see how that sign does. But I don't really think it moves the needle much for them. They also signed Kyle Anderson to a 3 year deal. I don't really get this one either. I think Kyle Anderson has some good moments, but I don't really see how he fits with this Warriors team. I don't think he's really bringing you what you lost losing Klay. He brings a pretty different skill set, and I don't think that's really what the Warriors need right now. But apparently they're trying to go out there and get Lauri Markkanen. I think that would be a good move for them, but it obviously depends on, like who is going in this trade to get Lauri Markkanen. How many picks are you giving up? They also signed Buddy Hield. Well, I guess that was a sign and trade. So that's interesting. But I feel like that's, you're not even really replacing Klay at that point. It's, Buddy Hield's kind of like the store-bought version of Klay Thompson. I don't know if that's offensive, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. He's a very good player. He's a very good shooter. I just don't think that, Klay wasn't even that great for you this season. So I don't think Buddy Hield is going to just turn this around for you and get you guys back to the playoffs. And, I just feel like they're not going in the right direction. I feel like they could leverage and play their young guys a lot more. I think like Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga and Trace Jackson Davis, like all of these guys are really good. So I think that's what they should rely on. I don't know if that is their plan and they're just signing other players, to eventually maybe use as trade pieces. Who knows? But this is a very interesting time in the league, for me, because, for the majority of the time that I've been a fan of the NBA, the Warriors have always been pretty good. I started really getting into basketball kind of when Steph Curry entered the league, like 2009, 2010. And, I always kind of knew. I was like, you have this really good player in Steph Curry. Eventually something good's going to happen. And it did. And it turned out to be a very good thing that happened to them. And they just drafted very well and they built up this great team. And I think they're just hitting the end of that life cycle from those, I would say 5 draft years that they had from like 2009 to 2014 where they were just drafting pretty well. They drafted Yepe Udo, who didn't really pan out for them, but that didn't really hold them back all that much. But yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy to see the Warriors kind of in this position. I think the Warriors and the Lakers have a lot of issues right now, and they're going about them in very different ways. And it kind of just seems like they're losing out on the free agents they want. They both wanted Paul George. They didn't get him. They both wanted to keep Klay Thompson. Or I guess the Warriors wanted to keep Klay Thompson. The Lakers wanted to get Klay Thompson when they found out he wasn't going to stay with the Warriors. But, it's been a rough off season for both teams. And you typically see a lot of dominance in, you know, two of the California teams, you know, at least for the past couple of years. And it honestly feels like the Kings might be the best team in California, like going into next season, which is pretty crazy with how bad the Kings have been just in the 2000s on. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the Warriors finish out free agency. I'm excited to see how, you know, their summer league's going to go. Maybe they're going to sign some guys from the summer league roster. You know, I think it's just they need to start thinking more about the future because Steph and Draymond clearly are probably not going to get any healthier, probably not going to get much better in terms of athleticism or being able to be more nimble, move quickly, play better defense. You know, so I think their time is ticking, and if they really want to win now, you know, you really got to just find the things you need. You know, I think they need a little bit of size, you know, and they need good athleticism, you know, at the wing. You know, I think Kaminga could really do a lot of things for them, but, you know, it seems like Kaminga kind of has a weird relationship with the Warriors as well at this point. So I don't really know how the organization is really feeling internally, but it's going to be an interesting season. Definitely going to be an interesting season.